Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So Linux Mint 19 has officially been released, and now we can actually do a full rundown of what Linux Mint 19 Tara has to offer. Now, I have already installed Linux Mint 19 Tara XFCE, the beta version, and so I've already been playing around with it, and I actually did do an episode a while back where I actually went through the new features. And so this final release, there's really nothing new in terms of anything else that's added on there. And so whatever new features I covered in the last video, it's pretty much the same here. But what I'm going to do here is really compare these new features in Linux Mint 18.3, the old version, versus Linux Mint 19, the new version. And if you wanted to know overall what I think about Linux Mint 19, I think it's awesome. This is definitely an incremental improvement, but just like 18.3, it's improvements in the right areas. So first and foremost, there are improvements to Timeshift. Now, I'm not really going to go over this because even though it is important, I don't think it's the most important thing. Okay, and then there's also updates to Update Manager. But what I want to start off with first is how it looks. And so this is something that they do discuss a little further down with the welcome screen and the software manager, but this is something that you can see right away. So this is a fresh install of Linux Mint 18.3 Sylvia, and right away you could tell this looks different. So this one looks, I would say, more boring. You know, Linux Mint has never been about Flash, you know, at least the default Cinnamon, XFCE, Mate versions, you know. And so, yeah, nothing too exciting there. But then if you look at Linux Mint 19, it just looks cleaner. If you notice, they're using a flatter icons. So I think it looks better, you know, and in terms of just the overall cleanliness, you know, this just looks really clean and modern, you know, and whereas this one, it was kind of getting there, but not really, you know, it just, honestly, this one just feels slower and older, even though it really isn't slower. I don't know. It's kind of like comparing an old version of Windows, I guess, to a brand new version of Linux. Let's just say that. It just looks really good. I'm really digging this look. And another thing right away, and as part of the new features that they talked about, was the welcome screen. Here, once again, this looks old, you know. It is helpful though. Very easy to get around. I really don't have any problems with how they have this set up. But then when you look at Linux Mint 19, it's all, once again, very clean, easy to follow, and they go over the new features and things that you need right away. You know, they do a quick and easy drill down. Whereas in 18.3, you might have to click on it first, and then it opens up in a browser. You know, so it's just those little things, you know, it's like really nice refinements. And so it just makes the whole user experience better. And that's one thing I talked about quite a bit on my very first talk about Linux Mint 19, at least when it was in beta, was the entire user experience is just so much cleaner and more modern. Okay. And then let me see what else, because I might be skipping around here because honestly, most of these, I don't think there's things in here that would make it like a, you know, like a monumental upgrade is what I'm saying. You know, I'm primarily looking at things that really make a difference for the average user. So there is updates to the X apps, for example, the text editor. And the reason why this is important to me is because I love using the text editor. It's one of my most used programs. So, and if you notice, look at this theme. I'm going to go back to this user experience. This Minty Y theme. Let's go ahead and look at that. More than likely, I probably might spend most of this actual video just talking about the actual user experience, because that is the biggest thing that I've noticed. Okay, so, well, that's the software manager. Well, okay, that's not where I wanted to go, but it did come up faster. And I'll get into that as well. So let's compare the two themes real quick. So just in case, you know, you wanted to do this on your existing Linux Mint install, you can. It's pretty easy to do. So let's go ahead and see what they've used here. And see just how old this looks. That you could tell right away. Okay, so just a refresh of the type of icons right here. It just makes a big difference. You see that? You know, it just feels different, you know. So let's look at the themes. So here are the actual theme setting. The window borders are Mint X versus Mint Y. And you could also add Mint Y here. See, there's Mint Y. So you could actually change the look of this. It's not a big deal. So icons are Mint Y. So everything here looks like it's Mint Y versus Mint X. So that's the main difference. DMC. Yeah, so that's the main difference. That would be something you could easily do here. Okay. But there's other clear refinements underneath everything that just makes it look better and perform better. And it just looks better, you know, just overall. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop talking about the user experience now. I probably won't be able to stop. So they've also improved the USB stick formatting tool. So before on the USB stick formatter, if you go here, right here, these are the different formats that it has. NTFS, ext4. And then if you look on Linux Mint 19, it should have an additional one now. It should have, but I didn't see it there. exFAT. Okay, cool. Not sure what exFAT is, to be honest with you. Is that some Windows stuff? Probably. Then there's improvements for logging. And there's also GNOME Calendar installed by default. Honestly, I've never used GNOME Calendar. The calendar that I use is normally like Google Calendar. So that's really nice that they include that. It's nice and clean. It looks very reminiscent of a Google Calendar. And see if it's here as well. Or was it Office? Yeah, so it's been installed, whereas on 18.3 it's not here. So let's see what else is there. And yeah, that's it for the most part, at least stuff that we can see. And obviously the kernel version is newer. So this is Linux Mint 4.15. Let's go back and look at that. So it should have the newest kernel. So 4.15, or newest at least for Linux Mint, you know, because it's not always on the bleeding edge. Newer version of Cinnamon. See we have for 18.3. Yeah, 3.66 versus 4.10. So definitely newer. And I think, you know, to make it real simple, that's probably the majority of updates. Okay, besides something that I always love, actual new wallpapers. Okay, and they're nice. You know, they're always nice. I really enjoy what the people who have contributed to it. I cannot complain. Okay, and honestly, I really don't have a favorite for which version has the best actual desktop backgrounds. I love all of them. The only good thing is, see, they still include older ones. You know, I really liked it before where they include the old ones all the way back to the beginning of Mint. I wish they would have kept that the same, you know, but for some reason, they only include this version, you know. So anyway, that's just a pet peeve of mine, that I wish they would introduce all the older versions as well. And so there isn't much else that's different, to be honest with you, at least not things that you could see on the surface. And, you know, for people expecting humongous differences, I think just the whole refresh and the user interface, the whole entire user experience, that's the number one thing that I love about this new version. It keeps all the great things that Linux Mint has really built up over time. You know, all the stability, the fact that it works with a lot of things. It's just basically just works, you know, and that's what I love about Linux Mint. And so they've kept all those things, but they keep refining it, just making it more modern, making it faster, just, you know, improving it in all the areas that make sense. You know, just making it more of a true alternative to something like a Microsoft Windows or an Apple Mac. And I think as more and more people actually come to experience Linux as a desktop operating system in a version like this, more than likely, they'll probably make the move, or at least take that first step. Whereas, you know, if they were going to something like this, they might be hesitant, you know, even though this isn't really an old version, looks do matter. You know, the whole entire user experience do matter, you know, especially when you're trying to get people into this particular ecosystem. And the Mint team has done a great job of doing that, and it will only improve more over time. There wasn't anything here that was actually miles apart from what we're seeing with Mint 18.3, but what they have provided is definitely very welcome. And so you could be assured that if you are going to be using Mint for the first time, that you will be having a great experience. And if you are planning to upgrade, then it definitely is worth the upgrade. I will upgrade mine later on. I tend to wait for a few weeks for all the bugs to get worked out initially before I actually upgrade my version as well. And also don't forget that if you do enjoy Linux Mint, be sure to head over to the page, their main page, and to donate to them, because they're providing all of this amazing software to millions of people around the world, and they do it all for free. And so help them out so that they could help us out by providing more amazing software. And so if you had any thoughts on Linux Mint 19 or any previous versions of Mint, or maybe another distro that you enjoy, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to subscribe. And if you wanted to support my channel further, you could do that at patreon.com/Geek Outdoors. Hey geeks, if you're a creative geek like me and you actually wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then join my Gold Content Creators group, where you will get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part is, all of this is free. All you have to do is check out the link below, head over to my page, and join my Gold Content Creators group. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.